the point I was trying to make with this pending global mind control event is to bring about an awareness to people to say, you know, this next one is very, very, it's going to be very intense, because it's not going to be done by, let's say, an Illuminati group on the planet, which is what we've been exposed to, who have been the pawns of this off-world cabal. No, these next ones that occur, they're going to have a far more direct hand in the process. And so we're going to be exposed to much grander levels of technology, far more sophisticated levels of technology, energies that are really going to stroke us far more deeply and reach into us deeper than it ever has before. And I'm not making this up, and I'm not trying to do fear-mongering here. Like I said, this is about self-empowerment. So by discussing it openly, by bringing it to people's awareness that you've got these entities that are coming to harvest their herd, and this is how they put it to me. You know, I've had these interactions with these off-world cabals, and this is their words. They're coming to harvest their human herd, and that's how they see humanity. And
what does
their
that mean,
resource.
George? I mean, are we talking physically, like we, reap the corn on the field, or are we talking about energetically here? What do you think?
Oh no, absolutely physically, and in part astrally. There will be beings, and I'm saying this categorically. There will be beings who will come and pose as angels of light and take people out of body on the astral body, and they will think that they're being taken by a deity to a divine light. And they're not. Their astral bodies are being taken to a synthetic light construct, which is labeled divine light. And I've talked about this extensively, Henrik, because there's people on the planet now that are creating Merkaba light bodies. And you can do that. You can do it. I once had a go at it, but my memories came back of the times that I had on a cosmic level of being someone who created synthetic light constructs. And sure, you create it from, the energy of your own essence feeds this light body that you create, but the Merkaba template is a mathematical template. And when you create life via a mathematical template, you are creating a synthetic life construct. You see, mathematics does not come first. People like to think that it does, but it does not. Life comes first. Mathematics is a quantifiable language that is used to define and describe life. So you've got people that are very right brain, who will look at life in a more flowing and ebbing and creative sort of way. And then you've got people that are very left brain, who look at life from a much more nuts and bolts perspective. And it's the people that are more left brain orientated that require the numbers and the geometrical constructs so they can comprehend the construct of life. And those, because you could look at the table that you're sitting at, and that table has a certain length to it. Now, numbers are arbitrary. You can use whatever, you could apply whatever set of numbers you like to measure the distance of the length of that table. And so the desk will always be that desk, but whatever numbers you apply to it will be up to you. It'll be from your perspective, your paradigm, your language. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there are people who on this planet today have been creating a light body using the Merkaba template. And it's a mathematical construct. And let's say, let me give you this example. You create a light body. Your essence creates that light body, and you use it to move around with. And it's quite a euphoric feeling relative to what we've been experiencing in this life here. But relative to the true essence of your light, of who and what you are, is beyond mathematical construct. So the Merkaba vehicle only applies to the lower domains of the universe where there is this mathematical construct taking place. It's not your pure essence of who and what you are. So I can create a light body, and let's say I can say to you, Henrik, or somebody else will say, come and join me in my light body. So now someone else comes along and two people's essences are now feeding that light construct, and it grows. and it gets bigger. And two people are enjoying the bliss and euphoria of that light construct. And then you bring in a third person and that light construct grows and gets bigger. And you bring in someone else and someone else and someone else. Now, if I created that light construct to begin with, that means I am the principal and primary entity controlling that light construct. But everybody else who comes in after that becomes a part of it, and their essence is, their energy is feeding that light construct and helping it to maintain it and to grow in power, and therefore I grow in power. So all of a sudden I'm becoming a bit of a god. And this is what's happened over eons of time in the universe, where you've got these entities that have created these synthetic light construct. Because, you know, this universe has been around for a long time, Henrik, and it's important that people aren't so naive about life. It's time for us to grow up again and get a handle on how things have been going, how beings have been functioning in this universe for such a long time. And you've got beings out there who created these light constructs, these synthetic light constructs, and have assimilated over a long, long period of time to the point where there's hundreds of thousands of ET races that have been assimilated into these paradigms of light. Now you've got entities, you know, and some of these paradigms are so big when you enter inside of them. And I'm saying this because I remember being inside one of these paradigms. And when you look up, you will see it'll be as though you're looking at a whole universal paradigm. And you have spiritual hierarchies like angelical hierarchies, ascended master hierarchies. These are common labels that we're used to. And you think you're inside a universal paradigm. And the entity that sits at the top of that paradigm plays God. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Just because a being who can shapeshift can come here and present itself as though it's Jesus, and then can take you out of body and take you to the so-called divine light. And relative to the life that we're having here, that'll be a euphoric experience. And I just want to warn people not to be so naive, that's all, because we have a lot of deceptive programs on the planet, and the programs that that are being implemented here on this planet are coming from off-world, intergalactic, and virtually interdimensional, but they only go as high as a fourth dimension. But that fourth dimensional paradigm is so big; it is the biggest arena in the universe, and it has many, many, many layers in it. And that's why people, when they were in the lower realms and they look up to the higher reaches of the fourth dimension, there's all these beings of light up there, of these synthetic light constructs, and everyone thinks at the top of that's God, and it's not. Life goes way beyond that.
Exactly. I mean, if we've been starved, George, for such a long time when it comes to, I don't know what to call it, a true spiritual experience or even connectivity with the, higher realities, whatever you want to call it. If we've been prevented to access that in different ways, we've been, capped by religion and other belief system, basically, whatever we would experience that just slightly goes above that, from our point of view, if we're not, savvy enough, we would perceive that that's our, that's heaven or what have you. It's very simple, I think, for if and I think even this could be done with the technology, but I guess that's what you're saying, is that these synthetic light constructs that you're talking about, in a way, is a technology, correct? That's like a device, a tool that is being used to entrap people, entrap souls, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And some of them can appear very organic because they need to, because they want to fool beings and continue to fool beings. And they appear very, very organic in nature, but they're not. They're of a mathematical construct, and they are synthetic in nature. If you have the point of reference of deep in your heart and your own essence, that is my recommendation to people. Then you will feel that the love that you feel deep within your own heart, within your own essence of self, that love that you sense there has a different flavor to the love that these synthetic light constructs offer. And when you're in these synthetic light constructs, they have a more shallow, even though it's all about love and light, and it is, and that's what these beings are going to sell to the whole public arena very soon. It's going to be all about love and light, Henrik. They really do need to win the minds and the hearts of the people, and it's all about assimilating people inside these constructs. And, they've been working on us for 6,000 years in a very intense way. And their master plan right at the very end now is about to be implemented. And I'm just, trying to warn people, because when we talked about whether the next big event is going to be, Elenin or a financial crash or World War III, at the end of it all, all these events, whether it's one or a series, at the end of all these possible scenarios and events, they will, and I guarantee you this, they will lead to a religious deity. Because these entities need to harvest their herd. They need to maintain the integrity of their herd, and they need to feed. And it's got to do with numbers as well, not just a few. The notion of the New World Order and culling back to 500 million or whatever is such, it's just not going to happen. There's no way that that's going to happen, because that notion is propagated by more the on-world cabal. We're talking their overlords, the off-world cabal, who feed constantly off the devotion, of the adulation, and the worship of the human race. They're the ones that are coming to harvest their herd.